We begin with breaking news here at 5 o'clock. A brush fire is forcing evacuations right now in Salem. It's burning along the 4,000 block of Vida Springs Road South.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office says people living south of this area should evacuate immediately. Level 3 go now evacuation orders are in effect, including River Springs, River Heights, and River Haven.
Now to the pandemic. The newest modeling on COVID in Oregon is showing hospitals could be full for 6 more weeks.
That is bad news for thousands of people who need surgeries but cannot get in because of all the COVID patients. And it's not great for all the people who will get sick enough with COVID to be hospitalized. KGW's Pat Doris reports.
Using complex modeling that considers a number of factors, OHSU data scientist Peter Graven looks into the future and sees the current 5th wave of the COVID pandemic starting to ease in 6 weeks or so.
I think by the end of October, middle of November, in that time frame, we should be out of crisis and more into more manageable levels of hospitalizations. But unfortunately, until that time, we still have a lot of people that are in the hospital for COVID.
He estimates about 26% of Oregonians, that's more than 1 million people, are still not vaccinated, but also have not yet been infected. He said those are the people the virus will try to reach, and that his modeling shows each infected person passes the virus on to an average of 6 or 7 others.
Eventually, it will run its course, and either you'll be infected or you'll be vaccinated.
The surge in cases has eased in some areas, but not Central Oregon. When I visited St. Charles Hospital in Bend 3 weeks ago, they had 60-some COVID patients. Now the number is roughly 100, according to Dr. Doug Merrill. He's the chief medical officer for the St. Charles healthcare system.
We're pretty full in the ICU. I was just going to check. I think we have maybe a bed available right now.
At one point, hospital leaders here thought St. Charles would hit its peak around September 17th. They no longer believe that.
There's an excellent correlation between the rate of positive testing in the community and then about 2 weeks later, what things look like in the hospital. If we see the positive testing drop into the 5 to 8% range, then we anticipate that we're going to start to see a drop in the hospital population.
The most recent numbers available last Friday are not encouraging. In the 3 counties surrounding Bend, Deschutes had a test positivity rate of 17.5%. Crook County was at 14.7%, and Jefferson County 11.9%. The 5th wave of the COVID pandemic is not over yet. Pat Doris, KGW News.
Starting today, there's a new outdoor mask mandate in Washington for crowds of 500 or more. Now, big high school football games, they draw that kind of crowd. Evergreen's McKenzie Stadium holds up to 5,000 fans, so they're going to be checking to make sure masks are being worn at the gate on Friday night. Also, the amphitheater in Clark County holds up to 18,000. Kiss is playing there later this week, and so is country music's Jason Aldean. Clark County's health director hopes people do the right thing and mask up if they go to these big outdoor events.
I'm hopeful that the mandate for, over 500 will actually also communicate the message. Even if you're at 499 or below, there's still a risk there if there's close contact.
Washington health officials already recommend masking in any outdoor crowd where social distancing is not happening.
The school year just started, and already the Delta variant is throwing off back-to-school plans. Data shows over 1,000 schools nationwide have closed since the start of the school year. Several are in Oregon. Morgan Romero found out why.
Jamie Olsen's sons looked forward to going back to school in person every day.
We were in school last year, the majority of the year.
She did too.
The delay was a little disheartening and a little nerve-wracking.
When Alsea School District pulled the plug with 1 week heads up, she got a little stressed.
I wondered if it was a little glimpse of what was to come, and I wasn't ready to, pack up my office and be a teacher / working mom again.
Superintendent Mark Thielman delayed school a week after an elementary staff member tested positive during teacher training.
If we did have spread, would we have enough subs to open up school on Monday? And of course, obviously we don't. We only have a few subs. We're a small district. So I made the decision to delay the school year.
Alsea and Benton County is one of 8 small rural districts around Oregon that closed for in-person learning since the start of the school year. Districts delayed the first day, with 2 in Tillamook County shifting virtual for now. Superintendents cite rampant COVID spread in their communities, leading to multiple staff and students being sick or exposed.
I always make sure I apologize because it is inconvenient. There's no question about it.
We've been keeping an eye on the community and the Delta variant all summer, and we were pretty much ready to pull the plug if we had to.
In Columbia County, Clatskanie School District had an outbreak a week before school was set to start, with over 50 students and staff in quarantine. Superintendent Kathy Hurwitz decided to push the first day back 2 weeks to Monday.
It was a tough decision, but when we really thought about how, keeping our kids safe and having a really, exciting return to school, the decision was pretty, it was pretty simple. The other problem in Columbia County is we have no hospital.
She says the pause gave them time to solidify remote learning plans for kids in quarantine. Back in Alsea,
So far, so good.
while a few got sick since school started 2 weeks ago, Thielman says there's little spread and little disruption to learning.
We have Google Classroom, and we also send work home. If the child ends up testing positive, then we work with the family to deliver a Chromebook computer.
I have faith that they're going to keep it open and work hard for our kids.
Morgan Romero, KGW News.
The Vernonia School District delayed the first day of school after losing an employee to COVID. With others in quarantine, they didn't have enough drivers to bus kids to school. Data shows 0 schools in Washington have been closed due to COVID so far this school year.
Police are investigating a deadly explosion in Troutdale from this morning. They believe that the blast came from inside of a pickup truck. It happened on the 42nd Circle and also damaged some nearby cars and homes. The ATF is providing explosion and fire specialists as well as an explosive detection canine to help with this investigation. The name and the age of the person who died have not been released.
At least 100 shots were fired during a weekend shooting in the Park Rose neighborhood in northeast Portland. Police say the bullets hit 4 apartments and 5 cars, but fortunately there are no reports of injuries. Officers also say the cartridge casings were in different calibers, suggesting multiple guns were used. Investigators are asking for tips. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers of Oregon.
An early morning chase ended abruptly when Portland police shot the suspect before taking him into custody. Police say Andreas Boyne stole a truck near Southwest 3rd in Ash around 1:30 in the morning Sunday. An air unit followed the truck from Highway 99 to I-5, where he nearly crashed into oncoming traffic. Boyne drove into Washington before returning to Portland. Eventually, police cornered the suspect on Northwest Ash. That's when officers fired shots. 2 officers now on leave, which is standard practice during the investigation.
A woman was killed early this morning in Gresham when a MAX train hit her. Investigators say she was sitting against the tracks when it happened. She was also in a fenced-off area that's not supposed to be accessible to pedestrians. This was between Civic Drive Station and Ruby Junction. Police say the woman appeared to be in her late 30s but haven't identified her. The train operator was cooperative and showed no signs of impairment.
Quick note for you, starting today, the speed limit is lower now on Northeast Halsey. It's now 30 miles per hour, down from 35. PBOT says 4 people have been killed on this road since 2019, and the change is in effect from 114th to 162nd Avenue. A new bridge and key piece to Portland's Green Loop is running into some delays. It would go over I-84 and was supposed to be installed this summer. But as KGW's Matt Park shows us, the project is still months away from completion.
To create a link between Lloyd and Greater Northeast and the Central East Side. Right now, there's a huge disconnect between the two.
A large steel structure sitting along I-84 has become a common sight for those moving along the highway through the Lloyd district. For the moment, it's an unfinished bridge.
This is something that's been, long talked about, and will go a long way to helping a lot of people getting across.
Cyclist Keith Jones with Friends of the Green Loop is anxious for what's called the Earl Blumenauer Bridge to be finished. The car-free pedestrian bike bridge would connect the Lloyd district and Central East Side over I-84. Original plans are for the bridge to be installed this summer, but there have been delays. The main roadblock would be the closure of I-84 and Union Pacific Railway while the span is installed.
for at least a couple of days, ideally over a weekend, to minimize the disruption to the traveling public.
After the span is lifted into place, PBOT says the project would still require several more months of construction. It's designed to withstand earthquakes and would be able to provide an avenue for emergency response.
In recent years, we've really tried to focus on, as we're building new infrastructure, how can we make sure that it's seismically resilient?
The Blumenauer Bridge is another critical piece of a much larger master plan called the Green Loop, a 6-mile bikeway connecting the central city on both sides of the Willamette River.
Tillicum Crossing is a part of the Green Loop too, and seeing that and having people go across it, you can understand, just what that's done for allowing people to move over from the east side to the west side.
In addition to connecting two neighborhoods, Jones believes the Blumenauer Bridge and eventually the Green Loop will give a boost to the Lloyd district.
If we can get people on bikes and scooters, they can actually use the Green Loop to move around the city, and it can reduce our need for parking in those areas.
The Blumenauer Bridge was originally scheduled to open in 2021, is now on track to open in early 2022. Those commuting on the east side until then are going to have to look for alternatives from 12th, Grand to MLK. In Northeast Portland, I'm Matt Park, KGW News.